Well, today the Israeli parliament held a special Knesset session to mark 25 years since his assassination. And joining me is Colonel Dr. Jacques Neria, former foreign policy advisor to Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. So first of all, at today's Knesset session, Prime Minister Netanyahu took the opportunity to compare the protests and incitement against his family that are taking place today to what led to Yitzhak Rabin's murder. Do you think that this is a fair comparison?
This is a very unfair comparison. In 1995, the ones who was on the balcony and inciting the mob against Rabin was Netanyahu himself. He just, instead of concentrating his speech today on the commemoration of Rabin and his legacy, he chose to underscore his accomplishments and successes in foreign policy, and finally, of course, citing the fact that he is being today targeted by I don't know whom on his life. And I think that this is a very bad comparison. But it seems that nothing has been changed, and nobody has changed in the 25 years that passed. Unfortunately, the political discourse is even worse today.
Now, Netanyahu himself stands accused of helping create the atmosphere of hate that led to Rabin's murder. Why? And what is your response to that?
Well, I think that basically today there's the development of politics in Israel there's no more right or left. There's no more center. This is only one block, and it's the Likud. And if you're not with the Likud, you're a traitor, you are an enemy, you are a leftist. Israeli society is really under attack, and it's being torn apart between those who are loyalists to Bibi and those who are not.
The Oslo Accords, which were the agreements that were signed between Rabin's government and the Palestine Liberation Organization in the 1990s, were a huge deal for the country because they really paved the path to peace. What was the atmosphere in Israel at the time? How did the public feel about this progress forward?
Well, at the very beginning, the country was split into two: those who were for and those who were against. They acted in every way to stop the process. And remember, Rabin had a majority of one at the Knesset. He had 61 members of Knesset in his coalition, and it was a very difficult time. So I think that Rabin succeeded in separating us from 2 million Palestinians, and in doing so, he just preserved the identity, the Jewish identity of Israel. What has been accomplished at that time in 1993, let me remind everybody that the minutes signed by Rabin are still living today.
You worked personally with Rabin. What do you think that he would say about the situation in Israel today? And do you think that there's any hope for peace with the Palestinians at this point?
Well, you know, Rabin was very stubborn, but I think at a certain point, if he had felt that Arafat was trying to fool him or to cheat him, he would have used weapons, and I mean, he would have gone military like Arik Sharon did it in 2005. I don't think that there was any love between him and Arafat. This was a marriage of convenience. It was not a marriage of love, and it was the fact that he wanted to give back most of the Palestinian territories and keep a Jewish majority in Israel. This was I think the basis of his policy. Nothing has changed since then, and I think that what we are living today are the fruits of what he did in 1993.